Mark Twain once said that when there's a gold rush, it's a good time to be in the pick and shovel business. Today we look at the rapidly evolving markets in the marijuana green rush in our Cannabis Chronicles.
Welcome back, everyone. 31 after the hour, and we've been promoting the International Cannabis Business Conference for a couple of months now, and joining us now to talk about it is the man himself behind the International Cannabis Business Conference. It's Alex Rogers on the phone with us. Alex, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me, Russ.
Oh, so glad to have you here. And, we did the ICBC, we can abbreviate here. We did the ICBC in Portland. It was, by all accounts, a huge success. Is that what propelled you to want to move this to San Francisco, or why did you want to move it to San Francisco?
Well, I guess when we originally came up with the mission of the ICBC, we wanted our first one to be in Portland. That was our strength. That was our home state. But we always had the inclination to, put it in other relevant places. We didn't want it to always be necessarily in the same place. After Portland's event, San Francisco just seemed like the next logical place for us to take our ICBC, and one of the reasons that is because you see a lot of these business conferences popping up. They're not all created equal, that's for sure, but we hadn't seen a business conference in Northern California, one of real substance, and we'd been seeing them more in Washington or Vegas or in Denver. But I cut my teeth in the early '90s as an activist in the Bay Area, and I think people, once Colorado legalized, I think California kind of got forgotten, not by Californians, of course, but it just didn't have quite the same fervor that it had before that. And so what we wanted to do is we saw that with Oregon legalizing and now California on the forefront of being the next, it being a tremendous, the biggest marijuana market on the earth, and so it just seemed like a logical choice to go there.
Now, of course, all of the cognoscenti in marijuana reform say that 2016 is the year. Everybody's going to go forward in California on marijuana legalization, and should it fall, then the whole country is up for grabs as far as marijuana legalization. Is the focus of ICBC then on the industry that exists now in California with medical, how it will exist in the future with legalization, a mix of all of that? Give us some of the flavor and the thrust of the conference.
Yeah, it's definitely a mix of all that. We're big. We promote business. That's what we do. But what we do is we promote good business, and we promote conscious business also, and or doing business in a conscious way. And almost the entire first day of the ICBC in San Francisco is dedicated to culture, politics, and advocacy. So we will definitely be talking about what the current situation is now. People have to know that, and that's very pertinent and germane to now. But as you know, this industry changes rapidly, and we would like to educate folks to the best of our ability and the best of our speakers' abilities on what they can expect to happen in terms of legalization and how that's going to change the business landscape.
It's the International Cannabis Business Conference at the Hyatt Regency in San Francisco, February 15th and 16th. We're speaking with Alex Rogers, who's the coordinator of the event. And you mentioned the speakers, and I've already seen the full list of all these speakers, and I'm really excited to be able to cover this and speak to these people. But give folks some of the headliners that you want them to get excited about and want to come to this conference for.
Man, there's a lot of people to get excited about. That's one thing we pride ourselves at the ICBC is our information. We're not an expo. We do have 30 booths, but it's more of a boutique accoutrements to the event. And we only have one track, so it's really important that we have a special an attractive one track. So that's the group. You're talking about a lot of the conferences you go to, there's many tracks, and you might get 100 people in each track. No, we really focus the group here, and in doing with only one track, it's really incumbent upon us to pick some bad mofos, and that's what we've done for this one. We've got, we've got Carl Hart kicking it off, Dr. Carl Hart, who you had mentioned in your earlier in your show with regards to rescheduling. He just knocked it out of the box a few months ago, testifying in front of the California legislator with regards to rescheduling cannabis. He's really the new up-and-comer right now. He's the guy saying what everybody should be saying and most people want to be saying. And he's taking a chance, but it looks like it's paying off for him, and he's becoming he's a neuroscientist. But we feel it's really important that if you're going to be in the cannabis industry, that you need to have some. You can't just be fodder out here, and you'll be seen as fodder if you're not hip to what's not only going on with the politics of cannabis, but with the science also. And Dr. Carl Hart's a really dynamic, fun speaker, so it's a great way to kick off the event. We also have travel guru Rick Steves keynoting the next day. Rick Steves, he's kind of like the okey-doke poster boy child for cannabis, and we love that. You know, it's this guy who's won the hearts of America through his travel, through his books and his traveling, and his TV, and is now coming out strong. Also a guy with a lot of sand who's coming out and taking seemingly a chance in doing so, but making a big difference. We got Ethan Nadelman, head of DPA. We've got Congressman Dana Rohrabacher, pretty much the Republican in Congress pushing cannabis. We even have free mixer event for anyone who has a ticket. A lot of the conferences, they charge for mixer events. We don't. We put that as an added little bonus for folks who do buy a ticket. And we've got Del the Funky Homo Sapien, Deltron 3030, performing for all conference members at a private party that evening. And so it's just, I could go on and on and on, Russ, and it's just, it's a tremendous lineup, our best ever.
Yeah, I agree. And check out the speaker list, folks. The website's internationalcbc.com, and I think it's /speakers will probably get you to where the speakers are. If not, there's a menu at the top. You'll figure it out. It's the internet, folks. Now, as far as this event goes, I'm getting some questions from our chat room, and one person would like to know, is this an annual event, or are you going to try to stage it maybe once a quarter in different states or something like that?
Yeah, we're not sure exactly. It's definitely not an annual event. We're going to move. We plan on doing Portland again in September, and that'll probably be the next ICBC. We weren't sure if we were going to come back to Portland right away, but because Measure 91 passed, we are, and we'll be doing that at the Convention Center, and I think that's the 12th and 13th, the Saturday, Sunday. Mm-hmm. But that'll be on. All that information will be on the website. But we're looking at. There's a lot of places we could do it. I will probably never have one in Vegas. I'll say that because Vegas is probably one of my least favorite towns in the on the earth, and so I probably just couldn't force myself to go to Vegas and do anything. But we are looking at not only places like Seattle, Denver, New York, Chicago, Miami, Honolulu. These are all options. We don't know where we're going to go after Portland. We'll probably just do San Francisco again. It seems like Portland and San Francisco, it's our way to really represent the West Coast, put Oregon on the map, and really bring California into the forefront. However, we have all those cities as an option. And lest we not forget, this is the International Cannabis Business Conference, so I'm actually looking at Berlin right now and possibly Sydney in the future.
Oh, fantastic. That sounds like a lot of fun. It's the International Cannabis Business Conference, Hyatt Regency San Francisco, February 15th and 16th, which is a Sunday, Monday. Any reason why you picked a Sunday, Monday?
Oh, yeah, because it was the only 2 dates available when I really wanted to be in San Francisco. I thought about it. It seemed kind of an obscure time because Valentine's Day is the 14th. It's President's Weekend. I did a lot of talking to my colleagues and peers to see what they thought, and everybody seemed to think that President's Day weekend is not a deal breaker. And so it looks like that timing is working out perfectly. It looks like this event will sell out, and I got a little better deal with the hotel because if the venue, I think, because doing an event in San Francisco, you're getting a lot bigger numbers thrown at you than doing one in Portland, and so it was pretty intimidating going in there cold trying to find a venue. And I got to say, working with the Hyatt Regency has been nothing but a pleasure.
Excellent. And I hadn't even considered that it was President's Day weekend. A lot of people might have that Monday off, and so it's really not that weird a schedule. Another question.
Yeah, it seems to be a perfect time, actually, oddly enough. So
I was going to say, another question from our chat room refers to the difficulty in getting legalization passed over the past couple times around, where people in the medical business oppose the idea of the legal recreational business. Do you find any of that among the people that go to the conference? And if so, how do you address that?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is one of those elephants in the room. You know, California has what I call de facto legalization, which could be construed as such because basically anybody can get their card. It's not a stringent process like it is in some other states, Oregon included. And also the Supreme Court of California a few years back ruled that it's even though counties have their own limits, it's unconstitutional to limit the amount of medicine one patient could have. So, you know, you have this same thing was in Oregon as we legalized. You know, I think it's really important to note in Oregon what's happening is there's some pretty there's many bills coming to Oregon this session right now that would like to completely revamp medical marijuana. And I think which is something I'm completely against, as you know. But I think that's what makes a legalization initiative. You want to keep your de facto legalization in your respective medical state, especially until the recreational laws would pair that. And so I think this is the crux. This is what I'm getting at. It's really important for Oregon not to do anything with medical, not because I just think that's the right thing to do, because it's a more liberal law. You just don't want to mess with that especially until the rec laws are in place. I think once the rec laws are in place for Oregon, we can look at changes to the medical program. But but that's ambiguous completely right now. And I think that's what California's fear is also. So not only do I think it's the right thing to do to not change medical whatsoever this session in Oregon, which they are trying to do, but we will be trying to stop that. I think by changing medical in Oregon now says, you know, because of course everyone voted for 91, saying, you know, if it had been known what was going to happen for Measure 91. That medical would be changed. Not as many people would have voted for it. We know that. I don't know what it would have been. You know, and New Approach isn't the one changing it. They've kept to their word. Okay, yeah. Anything can be introduced at any time in the legislature, and that's what's happening. So there were nobody broke any promises or told any gave out any misinformation. However, when 91 passed, it seemed like there was an impetus for many different reasons to change medical in Oregon. But if you do change medical in Oregon, it's going to hurt California's chances, or too early, I should say, change medical. It's going to hurt California's chances. And let me tell you, people in California are watching to see what happens to Oregon's medical program this session, because it's a big, big deal, and it has repercussions across the country.
Yeah, it's the International Cannabis Business Conference. You can find more online, internationalcbc.com. Early bird pricing still available, so get it while you can. It's gonna sell out, folks, absolutely. Alex Rogers, thanks for joining us. Thanks for your support, and we'll see you down there in San Francisco.
Sounds great, Russ. Always a pleasure, man.
All right, when we come back, we're going to take a look at those Oregon bills that he was just referring to. A plethora of bills. Stick around. We're back right after this.